Enlarge. Okay, very good. This is today's story. Suffering turns to joyfulness. Here's a Japanese comical poem. The more I see of that man, the more trustworthy he seems. I'd like to marry him and suffer hardship. Nobody has any real fondness for hardship. The point of the poem is that hardship, if shared with someone you love, becomes a source of happiness. Okay, very short story. Yeah, we often use this poem in Buddhism to explain what absolute happiness or true happiness is like. Um, yeah, what it's like is the state of mind transforms. It's not that suffering disappears in life or suddenly um, that person, yeah, is like in a vacuum or something. The world doesn't change. Things around the person doesn't change. The state of mind will change, where suffering turns to joyfulness. How come this happens? It's difficult to explain because it defies common sense. It's like, how can suffering turn to joyfulness? It's like, uh, yeah, it's like carbon turning into diamond. I mean, they're so different. Their nature, their essence is so different. But this poem here, the comical poem, it kind of gives us some insight. If you look at, especially very young girls, young women, when they fall in love, and maybe everyone tells the girl, I don't think this guy is good for you. Maybe you should wait or, date some other guys. But for her, the more she sees of that man, the more trustworthy he seems to her. That's the power of love. And she would feel that I'd like to marry him and suffer hardship. Like maybe he has no money. Maybe he doesn't come from a supportive parents. So he's all on his own. She knows that, financially they have to start from zero. They have to struggle together and make it. But when we are in love, we feel like there's nothing we cannot do. That's the power of love, right? Yeah. No one wants to suffer. And actually, the older we get, because we become more practical and realistic, because we know, I mean, that kind of love or romance, it does not last. So we kind of know how people fall out of it. And then the suffering really feels like suffering. Yeah. But if the love is there and it's alive, um, I think we all can relate to this. And yeah, we can relate to this. We can overcome anything. And we feel like, yeah, I don't mind suffering with him. So it's not about suffering in life, it's about who you are suffering with. Yeah. Yeah. And, when we learn Buddhism, we realize all the Buddhas are suffering with us, guiding us, cheering us on the path, rooting for us to go towards true happiness and enlightenment. Yeah, that's part of it. And then it doesn't have to be like romantic relationships or love. It can be like for a job too. It is said that it's good to love your work and do it with enthusiasm. If we find a job that we truly love, we are passionate about, we feel I want to overcome any hardships. I will suffer with this job. That's okay. I will accept the suffering. So it's all about our state of mind, how resolute we are, how purpose driven we are, how confident we are that this path is good for me. Yeah. And today's phrase today was a mother's smile is the light of the home. Hopefully, yeah, our mothers smiled at us at least once in a while. I think when we were growing up, if we saw our mother smile, it felt like all was well, even though there were a lot of problems in the family. It's that kind of mindset. When someone smiles at you, you feel all is well. Even if it's not all is not well, there are many hardships and problems, but you just feel all is well. So similarly, once we fulfill life's purpose, as taught in Buddhism, which is to be true happiness, we still suffer. The suffering comes, but it transforms, it turns into joyfulness. That's the mysterious world of true happiness taught in Buddhism. So, good job, everyone, for being here, practicing together. Today's Friday, and we're going to have um, the Purpose and Meaning Lab hosted by Rick and at 3 p.m. Pacific time. And have a wonderful Friday. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gary.